All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with top 16. We actually were not aware that they had already started, so we are going to be joining this I wouldn't say mid-match, but they probably are like a couple minutes in at this point. As you can see, there's a Nibiru on the field, which is the bane of Salamangreat's existence, as a lot of you guys know. We are going to be frantically attempting to update everything because, like I said, we were not informed that they were already playing. We thought they were still re-sleeving, but we didn't want to do any intro or anything. We just wanted to go ahead and bring you the action as soon as possible. And here they are. So we see it looks like it's Brian's turn. It looks like he just activated a copy of Area 0. And now we're going to go ahead and see that we're going to get an Afterburner, a Ignis, as well as a Shark Cannon. That's going to send the Disciples to the graveyard. You got to love that interaction with the Draco cards.
Oh, for sure. One of the benefits to playing Striker Draco is exactly what you're seeing here. Unfortunately, going to be a little hard to profit off of the Striker spells with a Nibiru clogging your zone.
Yeah, and for any of you just joining us again, these are both Worlds competitors.
Yeah.
They got matched in the top 16.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a seal of Orichalcos in the center, so the loser will be losing their soul.
And just so, because, considering the fact that, actually, no, they shouldn't because they're not playing Orcust.
Right.
So they might be saved by the Orichalcos' grace. Anyway, it looks like we're going to go ahead and see a Hayate come down now, so that's going to go ahead and deal another 1,500 here. That's going to go ahead and trigger Hayate to go ahead and send any Sky Striker spell to the graveyard.
And things are looking really good for Brian. Obviously, stabilizing versus any deck is incredibly important when you are playing Sky Striker, and Nibiru is a very easy way to do that.
Yeah, and I think that was probably what dictated the course of this game. Salamangreat just has such a rough time dealing with Nibiru, especially in the early stages. And as we can see here, Brian is able to pretty much stabilize the board by just having the Nibiru go in.
For those of you who are asking in chat, don't worry, we aren't that late. Nibiru is in Brian's main deck, and clearly has paid off.
Yes. When you're, again, we've talked about this time and time again with Striker Orcust, that it actually is a little bit susceptible to Nibiru.
Right.
And being able to have it in the main deck where not a lot of players are having it actually isn't terrible. So now we see a Hita come down, and when your deck is all fire, that seems pretty good. Now we have Engage firing off. I'm not sure if he's at 3 spells at this point. That's going to get met.
There's an Ash in the graveyard.
But there's
and a second
engage.
You see Walters just throwing his hands up. Hey, fantastic. When you draw it, you draw it.
There's a reason why people want this card to go.
Yeah, myself included. Right now, I would prefer it didn't go so it can save us from Orcust. We're going to get the multi-roll in hand, and you hate to see an Engage find a multi-roll because it can only mean the turn is going to last a couple more minutes.
So we're going to go ahead and get the multi-roll here. He does get the draw off the Engage, which always feels pretty good.
Always nice to be able to sit on the Hita and then link summon as necessary. Looking at the graveyard real quick, there is no shortage of fire monsters. Which one would you like?
I don't think any of these particularly matter if he's just trying to link climb.
Right, of course. He's thinking real quick. Is it even worth activating the effect of Hita, I think?
I mean,
you might as well. I don't know what 3 you would even want to go into, though.
I mean, to be fair, he could start kind of going after the back row here. He's not locked into anything, right? So, I mean, he could go into like a Unicorn or a Phoenix to then just pop one of Walter's back row and just try to run him out of resources.
There's this weird scenario that keeps happening in Sky Striker specifically, where you end up locking yourself out of race specifically because of shenanigans in which you get an opponent's monster. And then it's just really hard to get back, You don't have the ability to float off. You don't have the ability to sit on something like a Shizuku. And going into Hita just to go into Nightmares routinely is the only way you lose the game, minusing yourself in order to trade for your opponent's back row.
Brian could also opt to take one of the Link 2s, which then gives him Link 4 access. So, I mean, there's just...
What is the most devastating Link 4 against Salamangreat? I think something as simple as Abramax, maybe?
It's fine. Zeroboros is pretty bad.
Yeah. Ooh, and we're seeing a 2 and a 2. Now, unfortunately, that Salamangreat monster was not summoned from the extra deck.
Correct. And here's a
and here's the
from
Nibiru.
Walter.
You saw the hesitation on the Hita, like, do I really want to be Hitaing for the 5th card? Is that really something I want to do? And, oh, the Gazelle as well.
And that's Brian just going to scoop.
Out of Brian.
Wow. Okay, so... So the Nibiru paired with the Gazelle because a Salamangreat monster did go to the graveyard.
Ooh, all part of the plan.
Yeah, and
Throws up his hands to engage. What are you going to do against that?
And then apparently Nibiru Gazelle does it. So
The grand tournament of the series is upon us as Season 2 comes to a close with the Pro Play Tour Invitational, where players will be playing for $25,000 in cash and prizes. Still not qualified? Last chance qualifiers will occur on day 1 of our 3-day event and will fire every 8 players, awarding a box in prizing and invites. Be ready to play a few, because LCQs are only $10. Saturday is day 1 of the main event with a top competitor playoff following on Sunday. Stick around for day 3, where we will have team events as well as a variety of side events. For more information, visit ppgeventmanagement.com and come play with the pros.
I like how Brian's wearing blue and like his side of the stream is blue.
Did you plan this?
I did
You
not.
sat them.
I literally just said pick a seat and it just happened to go this way. But our shenanigans aside, we're going to see what we're going to do here. Brian going first, unsurprising, but again, the deck is very capable of going first and second, which is one of the strengths of it.
So we're leading with a Dragonic Diagram this time. That's going to lead into a copy of Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix and then a True Draco's Heritage.
So Heritage can at least draw for 1 at this moment, but obviously we're going to try to get as much value from that as possible. Sometimes you want to go all in on a Heritage.
Ooh, I'm seeing a Nibiru in that opener.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Well,
Leave it again going first. It's that devastating.
yeah,
against
Nibiru is
Salamangreat.
a very impactful card, so we're going to draw 1 off Heritage, and we're going to go ahead and play
Roll
another
up your sleeves for Area 0.
Engage. Or, yeah, Area 0, sorry. We haven't gotten to Engage yet.
There it is.
Ooh, got drones. Okay.
He shrugs. Well, it's better than nothing.
Almost a whiff.
So he's going to use the effect of Heritage to pop his own copy of Area 0, which summons a Ray from deck. This is one of the very interesting sort of interactions between the two halves of the deck that enables a linear play that more often than not gets ashed.
Ugh. So now Ray hits the board. That's better than drones because Ray actually means that the striker monsters are a little bit more sticky.
Ooh.
We're just going to go to an N-Phase Shizuku, though, and pass. Going to give Brian an Engage. Now, again, not the end of the world. Both of these decks, they're going to play a little bit of a mid-rangey type game, right? It's not going to be like a swift OTK.
Walter's stretching. I think he suspects a Nibiru for sure. This is pretty telegraphed.
That's one of the things as a Salamangreat player. You have to expect that Nibiru is going to like literally demolish you pretty much the entire tournament. All right, so starting with Buffalo. That's 1. Get your Nibiru counters ready, chat.
Good beginning.
And here comes number 2 in Baylynx.
So, of course, we're going to chain this correctly.
Did he activate it, though? He did not. He
Oh,
opened the
no.
Sanctuary. Feels
You hate
bad.
to see it, folks.
Yeah. It happens. I feel like I see Sanctuary more than any other card when I play it. Cosmic Cyclone on the back row, though, so there's the there can be only one.
And just complete head shake out of Brian. They always seem to have it, don't they?
Yeah, that's a very good there can be only one is just very effective against Salamangreat. They have outs, but they're very few and far between, and sometimes that can just take complete control of the game from there.
This is what's frustrating. There can be only one, and Nibiru are similar blowouts versus Salamangreat, but they actively displace each other.
Yep.
You're not really able to go for a Nibiru play if you're going for there can be only one, which means that he was forced to wait until he linked some of the Baylynx and potentially dug deeper, finding a Cosmic Cyclone.
So now Walter has Gazelle, and I love this interaction because now he can just summon the Gazelle because the Salamangreat did hit the graveyard, so now Gazelle gets to come out. He discarded a Spinny, which means he has full combo.
I'm glad you love the interaction.
But as soon as he goes into that Mirage Stallion, uh-oh. We're at 3.
We're sending a roar. It's a little optimistic.
If you're subscribed to the Twitch, make sure you use PPG YuGiOh Nibiru because it might be coming.
That's 4. All right, Walter.
It's going to make the Mirage Stallion to the area,
Wham.
and there is the Nibiru.
Now, the Nibiru token is reasonable here. It's got a fair amount of attack, but I think, 1,000 defense?
Striker Draco can easily dispatch the token. It's got so many tools. Yeah, it doesn't have the issue of not being able to clear the token. Yeah, there's so many tools. And this is the problem with playing Salamangreat. Now, again, Brian is down a game, so he definitely needs to make sure he can clinch this so that there is a game 3. But he definitely has a long road ahead.
From this position, I feel it's quite unlikely that he doesn't walk with it. Looking at the graveyards real quick. Oh, and going to battle phase. Okay.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, that is really not good. What are you linking this off for?
He's going to
Tribute
hard
summoning.
tribute for a Dynamite.
Do we
set
have
one
a
pass.
card demise or something? No. Wow, this hand is really not good for Brian.
Yeah, it's definitely seen that way. And the Nibiru, the problem with the Nibiru is it like locks him into keeping a monster on the board, so he can't engage, right? And there's no way to like link it off to get rid of it. Walter's going to pot his desires, and he's going to get a couple more cards here, and that could possibly get him back in it. But now we see a Apocalypse getting off of the Chain Link 2 response of the Dynamite.
This is frustrating. Like, if there's one monster you want to sit on, it's Dynamite Knight. But at the same time, you don't want to sit on one monster. You know, you're playing an extremely powerful deck with reasonably synergistic engines. What you want to do is pop off.
I also 100% agree with Walter's decision to play Potted Desires in Salamangreat.
It's
just
great.
Because it's if your deck can play it, you should be playing Desires. It's just 2 free cards. And most of the time, look, Walter already has all of his good cards in the graveyard, so it's fine.
We're just playing from there anyway. At this point, we're just drawing answers to the existing threats that Brian's deployed.
Which Brian has, it's not like the most intimidating board. It's fine. Salamangreat can actually, kind of deal with the Draco stuff relatively well just because it's so recursive. But he's going to Twin Twister, the Apocalypse, and the set Widow Anchor.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Those are 2 really good cards that Brian likely did not want to see in the graveyard.
Well, and now Brian, pretty much, there's only one unknown because he already knows he has drones.
He knows the other unknown, too. It's Engage, right?
Yeah. Are we seeing...
So the hand is Engage drones. All Walter has to do is walk in.
So it looks like Brian actually used the effect of Apocalypse to kill his own Dynamite. And I think he's doing that to unlock his ability to be able to use the Engage in the drones.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't do this, he actively just loses on the next turn. All Walter has to do is pass, and then he wins the game.
So very heads up from Brian, though.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so it looks like Brian was just showing his translations there for a second. Walter going to quickly check the extra deck.
Now, we did see Walter pass last turn. I mean, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that he just doesn't have anything remaining in the hand that's very good. You know, we are post-Pot of Desires, so it's unlikely, but, could be that there's not a lot left.
Now, Spinning Engrave, Jack Jaguar Engrave. Gazelle's there, but you got to find a way to get it back.
You do need an enabler.
Yes.
There's one.
That's a good one.
And we know there's no Ash in the hand. Brian cleaning his glasses. Yeah,
another Spinny.
Here we search what, a Foxy?
I think so. Yeah. So now you have your Foxy. You can use the effect of Foxy because you don't really need the graveyard part of it here. And
that's the best one.
Hit
and he
the whip, and
up.
Brian just scoops it up. Oh my God, that is it.
I mean, I really have nothing to say about that. 2 incredibly storied and well-known players, and one of them just gets blown out 2 games in a row.
I know, absolutely. And I mean, I think the will would seal it up, right? Because
sure.
you can get back the roar that was already in the grave because you can set up rage and roar with that setup specifically, and you have an engage, which can be negated. You have the drones, which can basically be dispatched of easily with like rage or something, and then 1 blank card to play through an entire Salamangreat board with everything being used again the next turn. Like,
no coming back from that.
Right.
I don't think, for those of you watching at home and thinking that Brian conceded saltily, I do not think he had a single percentage point of winning that game.
I don't think so either. I mean, it was
obviously an incredibly good player playing a very difficult deck who just had some extremely bad bricks and blowouts.
I love that he's playing this deck that mains Skill Drain and Soul Drain.
Soul Drain in the main!
That's so, I mean...
Orchest format.
I was going to say, yeah, Orchest format at its finest. So that's going to do it for our top 16 feature match. I will go ahead and see if we can get Walter for a quick interview. Yeah. And other than that, yeah, we're going to see if we can just start churning through the top 8 after that. Clearly, we still have other matches going on, but they might have been the first to finish. So stick around, chat. I'll be right back with Walter. Still looking to earn your invite to the $10,000 cash prize Pro Play Tour YuGiOh Invitational on January 24th through 26th in Orlando, Florida? Well, why not attend a Pro Play Tour qualifier at your local game store? Participating stores can host PPT qualifiers with their official Pro Play Tour Store Challenge Kit. Interested in hosting a PPT qualifier of your own? Visit ppgeventmanagement.com to learn how your local game store can qualify to host Pro Play Tour qualifiers today. All right, guys, welcome back to Pro Play Tour Las Vegas. We're here with your top 16 winner, Mr. Walter Jewell. How you doing, Walter?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. So how'd you feel about that match?
Well, if you watched it, my hand was insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the casino after this because I need to write this out. I do like 4 1-0s. Yeah, that match was really hard. So,
what makes this particularly hard?
The deck main decks through Nibiru's, and then it main decks a lot of draw powers, so it can access it like easily, like once they get going. Also, the Sky Striker engine for Salad is kind of weird because only your counter trap interacts with it. You can't like rage it, and then Ash, I guess, interacts with it. So if you go second, they can like start doing Draco stuff up on your board, and then they can Hayate and get engaged easily.
Sure.
Yeah, and then they play floodgates like there can only be one. So
makes sense.
Difficult.
How do you feel about the event so far? You know, you only got 3 more rounds to go for a potential first place finish. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm excited. I like that it's one day, so
yeah, that's good.
I don't have to go home and like have anxiety like the whole night.
You just get to play it out and get it all out of the way.
Yeah, I get to ride out my win streak.
You've been on Salamangreat for a while now too. I mean, did you ever like think about changing to Orchest, or I mean, it's clearly everywhere, but you've been sticking with Salamangreat for quite some time now.
Yeah, yesterday there was a regional here in Vegas, and I played Orchest for that regional.
Oh, okay.
And then I went I dropped, so I played Salad for this regional. Yeah.
And clearly it did well for you.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. It has a really good Orchest matchup, so
yeah.
I just want to play against Orchest a lot.
Yeah, and pretty much with how the top cut's looking, I mean, you might get what you wish for.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. So, congrats. Hopefully you go the whole way. We hope the best for you. And guys, don't go anywhere because top 8 should be starting relatively soon. I know you guys' match was very quick, but I think the other ones will be pretty quick as well. But yeah, we'll be right back with top 8 of Pro Play Tour Las Vegas.